Stitchy friends, welcome to the Starlight Stitching Co. Flosstube number 7. Today is January 12th, 2023, and I'm Amanda Corbett, the creator behind Starlight Stitching Co. So first, Lulu, quit moving the camera. Goodness. First, I would like to say Happy New Year to everyone. My last Flosstube video was before New Year's. She just wants to be front and center today. And I shared a whip parade with all of my projects. So today we're back to a regular Flosstube. I don't have much for notes, so I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants today. And we'll see how much of a hot mess this is. I've kind of been in a state of limbo between Christmas and now as far as my stitching and craft projects go. Keep bouncing around and can't seem to stick to anything. So after spending most of November and all of December focused entirely on Christmas and pink, I kind of got bored with it and didn't want to work on it anymore. Sorry, Kelly. It's her Christmas present. I do have it here, and I'll go ahead and show it. So here's the pattern, Christmas in Pink, by byKaterina. And here is my progress. I am almost done with the stitching anyway. Then I have to do all the back stitching. So I've got the sleigh completely filled in, and I've got the sign more than halfway filled in, maybe 2/3 of the way filled in. And then I have half of this shelf. I think I call them shelves. They look like shelves to me. Half of this shelf to finish. I did make a mistake on counting where these berries are at, so I'm probably going to have to pull out this big berry here and restitch it. But then I will be ready for all the back stitching and to finally get it in its frame and get it to my sister for her, at this point, very belated Christmas present. So I've been trying to stitch on it because it needs to get done because I really want to gift it to my sister. But also I'm ready to stitch on something else. So I've been kind of scatterbrained to that effect, I guess. Let's see, I do have... So I've basically started a few things. I have, my project bags are doing double and triple duty right now. So I started, well, hello there, January. And I got the stitching and adding the buttons finished. So now I just need to find something in my stash to finish it on. And I can get it on display, hopefully, before the end of the month. We will see. And once I got that one done, that was super fast to stitch. It only took 2 or 3 days. And I don't get that much stitching time, so to be able to get it done in 2 or 3 days is amazing. So next up, I started February. And that's where I'm at. So both of these used Flair fabric. This is Flair Shabby Chic Wood Pink, 14 count. And I've changed up the colors. So on February, I'm using 310 for the arrow. These are all DMC colors. DMC 3804 for the word February. And then I'll use more of a true red for hello, which is 326. And for January, hello January, I used DMC 932 for the border, so this kind of gray border. DMC 3750 as the dark blue for the hello. And DMC 807 for the word January and to... Now, the buttons I stitched with the same as the border. But, so, DMC 3750 for the word January. So I'm just changing up the colors on each one, doing different things. I did get the button pack from Fat Quarter Shop sometime last year when they had them on sale. Was it December? I don't remember. I've also got a secret stitch in here. I guess I'll go ahead and give a quick sneak peek. Can't see much right now. This is on a Zweigart Rustico oatmeal, Aida, rustic oat, something like that. I'll add it into the notes down below. So that is a secret stitching project. What else do I have in this bag? Ah, yes. It's a bit of a mess. So I've started Quaker Snowflakes from Liz Matthews. And I am stitching this on a Picture This Plus 32 count Mystic Belfast linen. And I swiped my needle to put the buttons on Hello January. But here's my progress. I just got started on the border. I haven't done very many projects on linen. And this is 32 count linen, which should be the equivalent of 16 count. But let me tell you, I am having a hard time seeing the holes on this fabric. I tried using the magnifier with the light, and the only way I can see the holes is to have something white below it. And that seems kind of awkward. So this is definitely going to take a while to stitch. The fabric is gorgeous in color. And I like the coverage. 2 strands over 2 linen threads. But those holes are just hard to see. So I still want to stitch on it. It's just something I have to have the right lighting and be in the mood to work on something that I'm going to have to focus really hard on. So let's get that back in here. Maybe too many things in the same project bag. I also started Let It Snow Sampler by Vivsters. So I was super excited to start it because I have this beautiful variegated blues and purples floss from Afterglow Workshop on Etsy. And this is the Oslo color. But it's really pretty. So I started it on a navy Aida, 14 count navy Aida. And it's looking great. But I went to trim down my fabric because I thought my piece was way too big. And realized that it was too short in one dimension. So this pattern, when stitched on 14 count, is 20 wide by 20 high. And my fabric was only a fat quarter, so it was only 18. Boo. Okay, so that means that I wasn't going to be able to stitch the whole thing. Thankfully, I started in the corner, so I think I'm just going to finish off this corner motif and make it into an ornament. That way it's not wasted, and then I'll use the rest of the fabric for something else. Then I received in an order of a pale blue opalescent Aida from 123 Stitch that I had ordered by accident. I was trying to get white for the Hello from Liz Matthews 12 Days of Christmas, and I selected the wrong thing. So when that came in, and I had nothing I planned on using that pale blue for anyway, I went ahead and dyed it. So I dyed it with indigo blue Rit dye, and then I over dyed it with navy to get that modeling. So it's got that shimmer from the opalescent. I wasn't going to use an opalescent on this pattern because basically every fabric I've used for the last couple months has been sparkly. I thought, okay, that's too much sparkle. I'm doing the same thing over and over again. But, I mean, it is snowflakes, so, and snowflakes sparkle. And I think it's still going to look good. So I'll be restarting this soon on the right size fabric. Cat hair everywhere. So let me put this back into my super duper fancy plastic bag that the Aida came in from Fat Quarter Shop. I need to make another project bag. Too many things I want to do and not enough time. Isn't that always how the story goes? Okay, then between Christmas and New Year's, I did share this in my Whip Parade. I started this Dimensions Gold Collection stocking, Candy Cane Santa stocking. This is going to be my husband's Christmas stocking. I haven't worked on it anymore since I shared it in the Whip Parade, but since I hadn't shared it since my last Flosstube, I thought I would go ahead and share it again. So I started at the top. That's my husband's name, Bill. And then I'm working on the half stitches around. I did grid it with the Easy Count guideline, which is like a red fishing line material, because I find on these full coverage projects, that the grid really helps me keep track of where I'm at. So that's where I'm at on that one. Again, super fancy project bag, the plastic sleeve that it came in. I've got to make some time for project bag making, and that's all of my cross stitch whips. I told you I've been kind of scatterbrained lately. I do have a new system for keeping track of what I work on, because I find, especially since it's been 4 weeks since a regular Flosstube, since my last one was just a Whip Parade, that I was having a hard time keeping track of what I worked on. So I got myself a happy planner for this year, just because between regular life stuff and homeschool commitments and business stuff, I just could not keep track of all the things up in here. It's just not working. So I'm trying out the happy planner. I'm normally not a planner person. It's like, it's all fine and dandy and I make notes and then I never look at it again. So I'm trying to be better about that now and help me not forget as much, or at least have reminders for things. So I got some graph paper inserts for my happy planner off of Amazon. And at the top, I have cross stitch whips. I've written the month and the days of the month. And when I work on something, I just X on what day I worked on it. Pretty simple, pretty fast. An easy way to keep track of what I've worked on. That way, when I have to do my next Flosstube, I'll just be able to peek at this and I can see what whips I worked on. Okay. I also have just some note pages in here, so I could keep track of the details for each of my whips that I'm working on and check it off if it's complete. So I listed all the details for the Hello There January, the fabric I used, and then I'll write in the DMC colors. I didn't have it with me when I was filling this out, so I'll add the DMC colors that I switched it to. And then I've got a little check mark because I finished that one. So far this has been pretty handy. I like it. Believe it or not, that's all I have for cross stitch whips. I'm telling you, I've been super scatterbrained. And I've been working really hard to get the Clutch Club boxes put together and shipped out, and that's all done, so that's a huge relief. I do have a few left. If you're interested, go to my shop and order one. The piece that it's inspired on is very sentimental to me. I would share it now, but I want to leave it as a surprise for the Clutch Club members. So maybe on my next floss tube, I'll share what was in the box and the inspiration and everything behind it. I have been working on learning some knitting. Here is a piece I did in, I don't know, some Lion brand cheapy yarn from Walmart. It's not perfect, but just practicing the knit stitch. One skein. My daughter's been using it as a doll blanket, perfect doll blanket size. And now I am working on doing one knit row and one purl row, so practicing the purl stitching with some more Lion brand yarn. This is the color Hudson Bay. It's a really pretty variegation. So you can see my knit stitch here, or at least my practice. There's definitely some inconsistency in tension. Like you can see some of these are a little bit bigger. But it's just practice. Practicing each of the stitches until I get comfortable with it, and it'll still be a little while yet before I start my big project, but it's been fun. And I am just using these long bamboo needles right now. I'll probably try using some circular needles in a little while. I'm just trying to get the hang of it. I feel like I'm all thumbs trying to learn something new. I've done crochet for lots of years, so it's second nature to me. It's not difficult. But I feel like, I mean, with knitting, I'm starting all over at the beginning and don't know what I'm doing again. And that can be kind of frustrating sometimes. I did have a quilt finish, so I snuck this in right before New Year's. This has been a whip for a long time. So this is the Snowflake quilt. I don't remember the designer's name. I will put it in the description box below. And the fabric I used is a beautiful batik fabric that I got from Missouri Star Quilting several years ago, so it's not going to be available now. Nice throw size quilt. It has a dark blue snowflake print on the back, and I used the same fabric for the binding and decided to do a wide binding this time. The quilting, I just did a super simple random wavy lines with my walking foot. You can see it better on the white. So just random wavy lines all over the place. It's really fun quilting. I did notice when I washed it that some of the batiks bled onto the white of the snowflake, but I'm not really that worried about it. I know you can soak it in some hot water and dawn in the bathtub for a while, and that will help get some of the dye out where it's bled, but I'm just not going to worry about it. I think it still looks fine, even with the bleeds. It's a snowflake. Get a close-up of this metallic batik fabric. Gives a really frosty feel. So it's been nice to have that done and to be able to use it. I also started a quilt. I shared this on my Instagram. I am doing the Cozy Cabin pattern from Modernly Morgan. I'm doing the bed size. And I am using Cheer and Merriment fabric. So here's some of the pieces. It's just a really pretty jewel tone, but not necessarily just traditional colors for Christmas, with Christmas prints. Really pretty. And I have all of the pieces cut, and I like to keep my quilt projects in these 12 by 12 boxes. They're meant for scrapbooking. This is, I don't know if you can see that, Essentials Craft Supply box. I've also gotten some Iris ones. I have several different brands, but they're all 12 by 12 boxes. But I find they hold all the quilt pieces really well. I can keep my cut pattern pieces stacked up and organized. So I've set myself up with kind of a block of the month, except I'm not actually doing a whole block. I guess I kind of am. So I've got my goals listed out in here in case you would like to follow along. So for January, I wanted to get the cutting done. February, I want to get all the half square triangles made and trimmed. And then just working through each of the steps to where I'm doing the binding in December and can use it at Christmas time. Because, I mean, it's a Christmas quilt. So it would be fun to actually get a quilt done within 1 year instead of something that's been sitting on my quilt whip ladder. If you see me looking to the side, it's right over there. I've showed it once before. I have a quilt ladder in my craft room that's full of my whip quilts. Okay. That's all of the whips I have. Covered all of my new starts. So, oh, I forgot, I have a crochet whip. So I finished the sweater, the blue Sky Cardi that I was making for my niece, which was based off of one I had made for my daughter several years ago when she was 2. And I'm starting a new one, a new larger one for her that is in her favorite color, which is green. And I got this beautiful hand-dyed yarn that I spent way too much money on. Threads by Nicole on Etsy. There we go. Oh, I guess I knew I bought it on Etsy, but I guess she has her own website too. And I got 2 colorways. The green is, excuse me for the crinkle, it's terrible. I lost my hook. Can't lose my hook. So I got this Everglades green and this very pretty purple and green speckled neutral color, which is called Lilac Grove. And those are my yarns for this particular project. So I've started here, and I don't want to weave in 20 million ends. So I'm kind of carrying the color up the row to skip. I know it doesn't look very clean, so I don't know. The right way would be to cut it off at each row and weave in ends for each and every row, which I really don't want to do. That's a lot of ends to weave in. But I also really don't want this stripe running all the way up the back either. So I might have to undo these rows and do it the right way, just because there's so much contrast in between the yarns. But I think it's coming out really pretty. It's going to look really great in these colors, and I know that she'll get a lot of use out of it, because the one I made for her when she was 2, she still wears today. So even though it's a higher quality yarn, i.e. more expensive, I think she'll get a lot of use out of it, and it'll make it worthwhile, especially since it's in her favorite color. I do have some haul. I'm going to try to cut back on the haul this year, like most people. I mean, things are getting tough. No way around it. So I'm going to try not to have as much haul each time. But I did get in from Hunnie Quilt on Etsy. Yeah, the label's kind of torn. So I'll make sure to add a link to it. I got the fabric that I want to use for my backing and binding on my Cheer Merriment quilt, and then she always sends a little extra with it. I love how she packages the fabric, how it's all tied in a pretty ribbon. Such nice extras. Love that shop. Highly recommend it if you're looking for some fabric. I get lots of my shop fabrics from there. I did get some patterns, some cross-stitch patterns. So these are from several different shops. I don't remember what came from what. But I got Silver Creek Samplers, Follow Your Heart, and Little House Needleworks Snowy Petites. I believe those two came from Heartland Quilt and Stitch on Etsy. Then I got JBW Designs with Love. I saw this Annie the Proper Stitcher. She shared her finish, I think, on her Flosstube, and I went over and got the pattern immediately. Let's see. Then I got from Sweet Wing Studio 3 different patterns. Spring Doxology. And it says, Praise God from whom all blessings flow. And it has some bunnies and birds and tulips. Very cute. Perfect for spring. Oh, come let us adore him. And Forever in Peace. So this is the one I went to her shop to get, is Forever in Peace. And then I found the other two because, you know, you can't have anything shipped by itself. Then I ordered Woodland Wonder from Glendon Place. I saw this on a Flosstube recently too. I don't remember who though. I don't remember what Flosstube I saw it on. And then I also ordered Love You Still. And it says, loved you yesterday, love you still, always have, always will. So I'm going to stitch this up probably as an anniversary piece for me and my husband. It's actually pretty big. When stitched on 28 count linen, it's 21 1/4 by 17 7/8. So the stitch count is 298 by 251. So this is a pretty large chart. I'm going to switch all the colors up entirely because me and my husband both love blue. So this will probably be in a variety of blues with some complementary colors. I don't know what I'm going to stitch it on yet. I got my Color and Cotton January Thread Club. I have the all 10 colors, or all colors, 10 skeins. And that's what I received. Beautiful. I also ordered from Fripperies. It's a shop that Tiger Lily Designs featured in her Flossmas, Stitchmas, in her Christmas videos. So it's this beautiful wooden Santa sleigh hanger. And I am going to paint this probably red. And when I finish my Christmas rules, I'm going to hang it on this. And it's going to be really cute. It's very nice. Then, oh, I didn't open this. Phooey. see if I can get this out. I ordered these from Scarlet Sky Designs TX on Etsy. This is a little house with stand. And then this is the tobacco basket. Very cute. I think I ordered the tobacco basket with the intention of putting my well hello there's in here, so staining it and finishing it and attaching my monthly hello there's from Hands On Design with a magnet. We'll see. Take care of that trash. I picked up both of the Christmas ribbon packs from Primrose Cottage for some finishing supplies, because, you know, I have plenty of stuff stitched and nothing finished, or not very much finished. This is the rest of that 14 count Blue Blizzard Opalescent Aida fabric from 123 Stitch. So I had just cut the size that I needed off of it and dyed it. So here's the rest that I can use on something else. I also got in from Bestitch Me some Tsunami 14 count Aida. I had considered using this for my secret stitching piece, but in person the fabric colors just weren't right. It's a beautiful piece of fabric and I will use it. I'm not sure what on, but I will use it. It's gorgeous. It just wasn't quite right for the piece I had in mind. And then I picked up from a local store this Knitting Basics book to help me learn my knit stitches and whatnot. It's got a lot of information in it. Almost information overload. Knit stitch, knit and purl, ribbing, texture, increasing, decreasing, slip stitch, short rowing, shaping, picking up stitches, working cables, making a garment, working with double pointed needles. So just a good reference book for me to have for learning my knitting. And then I also sorry for the crinkle, I haven't opened this all the way yet. From Nicole Threads, I ordered this colorway Monet hand-dyed yarn to make myself a sweater that is based on the Blue Sky Cardi. I think it's called the Sunny Day Cardi. It's by the same pattern designer, for an adult size sweater. So I could have a sweater, and it's this beautiful pinks and purples and yellows and greens and blues. I mean, the name Monet definitely fits it. So a little crazy in colors, but I think it'll be nice. So I've got a lot of crochet, a lot of yarn projects in my future, which is great because you can't really cross stitch in the truck. We go camping a lot, and although the ride in the truck is smoother with the camper on it, it's still far too bumpy to try to cross stitch. It just gets very frustrating. So instead I crochet or possibly knit, because that's easier to do when you're bouncing around a little bit. So having crochet projects to work on while camping is great, especially since when the daylight gets too dark to see to cross stitch, I'll switch to my crochet or knitting, because I can do, or crochet at least, I haven't done knitting yet, by the campfire light, because that's enough light to see the crochet usually. So last time I had a giveaway for Quaker Snowflakes. I had bought 2 of these patterns because I guess I really, really wanted to stitch this. So my mistake is your gain. I drew a winner for this, and I will show the comment right here. The winner's name is Betsy Cole. So Betsy, please send me an email at the email address in the description box below, letting me know what you won and your shipping address so I can get this popped into the mail to you. Today's giveaway, let me get the loose threads off of it. Wow, there's a lot of loose threads on here. I'll take a lint roller to it before I ship it, I promise. This is going to be the Fresh Cut Stitched Quarterly. So you have the project bag. You have the cross stitch pattern, the called for floss, the called for fabric, the needle minder, and the needle. You will get all of that in this lovely little bag. I guess I just have spring on my mind. I'm tired of the cold winter. So for this giveaway, use the word fresh. That should be interesting. Use the word fresh somewhere in your comment. Please be over 18. Please be within the US. Please do not say free or giveaway. And use the word fresh in your comment to win this lovely set. I'm kind of surprised I haven't stolen this project bag for something else yet, but instead you will get it. So that is all I have for you today. It's a little bit of
video.
I have one thing I forgot to show you, but I have somebody who wants to say hi really quick.
Who?
Who do you think?
Me.
Yeah, do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Okay, you need to be quiet, okay? So on a whim, I started this Love Note quilt pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. The finished size is 20.5 by 24, and I just dug into my scraps and put this together. It only took one afternoon. It came together pretty quickly, even though I screwed up my cutting on the heart pieces and had to fudge it a little bit because I didn't have any extra to work with. And then I backed it with this same gray floral and did a simple diagonal quilting lines with this black gingham trim. So that'll be a nice wall hanging for Valentine's Day that I'll put up back here next month. Maybe I can get my scattered brain into order here soon and get stuff finished. I think I'll be really relieved to have Christmas in Pink done. It's been fun working on it. I know my sister's gonna love it. I'm ready to work on something else. I'm ready to stitch on something else. So yeah, that's all I have. Yep, I covered all the shop updates. I'll be sharing what we'll be releasing this Sunday. I guess I could share those right now. Give me a second. So Sunday at 1 p.m. Central is going to be the next, sorry if I bumped the camera, clutch release. I haven't taken photographs of these yet, but we have this one here with this Lori Holt quilt block fabric. I have another version with a different binding here. And they both have a little button charm. Then I have this cute doodled flowers with a polka dot binding. And the charm on this one is a little heart with a pink and a black bead. A blue chickadee version. So the fabric background is blue, and then we've got this blue plaid around it that looks really cute. And the charm is a pine cone. Then we have this pink Lori Holt version with a heart charm. It says made with love on it. I don't know if you can see that. Then I have this Love Note version. These were very popular fabrics last year. I still have some left in my stash. And the charm, if I can get it to stay facing the right way. There we go. There's a cute little crystal heart. It's very pretty. And then, last but not least, I have this version, which is little embroidery hoops that have different words and a little conversation heart charm on it. So thank you, love, enjoy, truth, freedom, beauty, love, bloom and grow, love. Those are all the different words on it. And little embroidery hoops. So those will be released on Sunday, January 15th at 1 p.m. Central. And I don't have all of them done, so it'll probably take me about a week to get everything ready to ship out. The club boxes have kept me very busy. And that's it. So I hope you have a wonderful next couple of weeks. I hope you get a lot of stitching in. And yeah, Happy New Year. Enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thank you. Bye.